Hello, everybody. It's your favorite teacher, Mr. Gresco. Yeah. All right. We're going to cover the third section of nerves today. Sections 914 and 915. You should have your notes with you. Hopefully you've printed those out or I've given them to you if you need them. Basically, what we're going to talk about today is we're going to cover the cranial nerves. These are nerves that actually stick straight out from the skull itself. They don't necessarily travel down the spinal cord. We'll get into that in a little bit. So you've got to cover two different types. There's the somatic nervous system and there's the autonomic nervous system. Somatic are those things that you have control over. And then autonomic, you should know that already. It's the stuff you don't have any control over. Things like your heart, your viscera, that kind of stuff. And so as we go on, you need to understand the difference between the two and be able to just differentiate them on a test. And that one. All right. So your spinal nerves actually come out of the spine, and then cranial nerves come out of the brain directly. Yeah. Big shocker there. There's actually 12 pairs of cranial nerves. So just like there's two hemispheres of the brain, there's basically two nerves for everything. All those nerves are numbered with Roman numerals. And so let's widen that right there. Yeah, that'll work. All right. These are what your nerves look like. We're talking about all the things in yellow here. Now, they're obviously cut off here, but all of these nerves would come out of the brain and extend somewhere. In this case, they extend off. One of them actually travels all the way down into the stomach area. That's kind of an interesting one. But none of these actually come out of specifically the spinal cord. You do have these nerves down here. This accessory nerve right here, you can see it ties into your medulla there. Your hypoglossal nerve is up here. So this is basically what we're going to talk about today. We're going to cover the differences in all of these nerves and what they do. I've included a picture, colored picture at least a picture for you to color. And you can use this page right here to assist you. There's also later on, probably not today, next video where it talks about, it shows the different colors of them. That would be a good way to color your picture as well. But you need to be able to look at this picture, understand what that nerve is, where it's located, and also what it does. So your first one, if you look at your notes there, all you have is a list, and it says number 1, and that number 1, you need to write the word olfactory, and then next to it, you just need to put smell. Your olfactory, if you think about if this is the front of your brain, this is the underside of your brain here, but if this is the front, and this is your frontal lobe up here, then this is roughly about where your nose would be. And so this guy is important for sense of smell. And this whole thing, like this is a bulb, this whole thing is called your olfactory tract. And yeah, you can see how it ties into different portions of the brain to help your sense of smell. Your next one is called the optic nerve. Yeah, move the screen over here. I didn't set that up very well when I started. All right. The optic nerve transmits information from your eyes. Big shocker, all right? Now, as it travels down, you can see with the color where the nerve signal goes to, all right? So the green follows down along here, but it also follows this way. So you can see how each eye is connected through this optic chiasma here and then travels back, and it's all interpreted here by your occipital lobe. And so on your notes, put optic nerve for number 2, and then put sight or vision. Number 3 is your oculomotor nerve. The oculomotor nerve controls most of the muscles at the eye. This is basically moves your eyeball. There are other nerves that are specific for movement and of the eye and things like that. We'll get to those in a second. But yeah, your oculomotor nerve moves your eye. You can see how it taps into the midbrain right there and comes on up. If we go back to this one right here, and we find the oculomotor nerve right here. If we follow this, number 3, there's your oculomotor nerve. And so it would have to cut off here because your eyeballs are up here, right? So this nerve would have to travel up to the eye in order to allow it to move. Before I move on, just get a quick look. Here's your trochlear nerve, because that's what we're going to talk about next, and then your trigeminal. All right. So if we go to your trochlear nerve, this actually innervates the extrinsic eye muscles. So for trochlea, put that it moves the eyelid. If you look, it comes along right here, travels up, and you have this eyelid right there, and it controls that. So I just put on my notes for number 4, it moves the eyelid. And then number 5, trigeminal. This is what gives you your facial nerves. It's got that large branch that travels through the skull, and it actually has 3 parts to it. I don't need you to know the 3 parts. I just need you to know that for your notes, I put it affects the face, the jaw, and chewing. So face, jaw, and chewing. You can see how when it comes from the brain, it's got to pass through these foramen in the skull to get to the outer nerves, or to get to the outer muscles of your face and stuff there. All right. After trigeminal is the abducens, and that controls more eye muscles, specifically your lateral rectus. And so on your notes, you need to put abducens and then put eye, and then put in parentheses the lateral rectus only. If we go back, all right, this should be interesting. I had to actually pause and go back because I was recording for 4 minutes of audio that it didn't record video on. So that should be interesting to see what kind of edit I'm going to need to do here, or nothing at all, because I just won't care. But we left off on the lateral rectus, I believe, the abducens of nerve 6. And nerve 7 is your facial nerve. So if we find nerve 7 here, and we come over and look down right here, this is your facial nerve. All right. And your facial nerve actually innervates your entire face. All right. This is where a person cannot blink or smile. They may have damage to that nerve. Bell's palsy is what happens when it causes paralysis on one side of the face. You can see that in a lot of people, actually, more than you would think. And the same thing happens when a person experiences a stroke. They lose control over one side of the face. Well, in Bell's palsy, they don't have to have the stroke in order for that to happen. The nerves, for whatever reason, that innervate this side of the face, or either side, it doesn't matter, they're not working. And so they can't control as well. They don't have good facial expression. And so for facial nerve, put facial expression. Real hard there. The next one is called vestibulocochlear. That is your hearing and balance. It is also called the auditory nerve. Both are fine with me. I don't care either way. A lot of kids can't say vestibulocochlear, so they just call it the auditory. They're used interchangeably, and it is for your hearing, but it is also for balance. A lot of people don't realize that there are tiny little hairs inside your bones of your ear here, this ganglion and stuff, that actually assist you in keeping your balance. Kind of an interesting thing. So when you get ears plugged up and you're having a hard time keeping your balance, that would be why. Your next nerve number 9, is the glossopharyngeal. That is for swallowing, speech, saliva. It controls your pharynx and your tongue, those kind of things. The vagus nerve is the one I actually mentioned earlier that travels from your brain all the way down to your stomach and abdomen. And it's literally just a long line that comes down, and you can see everything that it goes into and innervates here. It goes to all of those muscles in the abdominal cavity. And so for your vagus nerve on your notes, you need to write that it's major organs and viscera, Viscera, viscera. Accessory nerve, just like it says there, it supplies the shoulder muscles. You can see it comes down here. There's your trapezius and sternocleidomastoid that you should remember from muscles. And it just goes into those and helps to control your shoulder muscles. And finally, your hypoglossal nerve goes to the tongue. And this aids in speech. So if you have damage of your hypoglossal nerve, you struggle to talk. All right, so if you missed any of those, the PowerPoint itself has written down what I need you to know, and there's also a location in black and white for each one of those. It's a little hard to see when you get down into here, which is why I provided other means for you to be able to see what or where those nerves are and what they do. There is a mnemonic on Old Olympus towering top, a Finn and German viewed a hop. So you would have olfactory, optic, oculomotor, trochlear, trigeminal, abducens, facial, vestibular, cochlear, or auditory is that one. This is where kids get tripped up here. Glossopharyngeal, vagus, accessory, and hypoglossal. You can actually see these nerves in real time or real life right here. Some of them are super tiny. Some of them are very large. Again, you have your comparison right here to kind of help you see. There's your oculomotor right here. Well, it's kind of bent backwards here. Good picture for you to see. That makes me laugh. I'm sorry. I like funny things. Go ahead when you get a chance and watch this video. This girl actually only has half of her brain. And she had it removed pretty early in life. And you'll be able to see right here that she's actually paralyzed on a portion of her face there. And it's really great. I might actually even show a video later on of a person who was born without half their brain and didn't realize it. She had to have half of her brain removed. If I remember right, it's because she could not, she was having lots of seizures, and it helped to get rid of those. All right, that's where we're going to stop off for today. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will communicate with you online about what we're going to do next and I need from you. If you have anything that you need, let me know. Thanks.